friends in Sasquatch land. Monday night at Untold Radio Network is here once again. I am your host, the OG Chris Reinhardt, and welcome to Discover Sasquatch. Hope everybody had a great week last week and a nice weekend. Do we have another great show for you? Do we not even have one guest tonight? We have two special people with us tonight. So I'm looking very, very forward to this. Hello to everybody in the chat room. I'm glad you guys could all make it. We were all checking out the talking before we all came out. Hello, Mr. Flatrock's with us. He was with us last week. If you guys missed that episode, please go back and check it out. It's doing pretty well. Oh, the Squatch father himself is here with us tonight, Mr. Alfred Santariga. Uncle Bones, too, as always, is with us, and Miss Francesca E. You can't forget about her. Hello, Mr. Scott M. I'm glad everybody's pouring in because these are, Mr. Greg House is here tonight. Hello, Greg. How are you tonight? Miss Aspa 60's with us once again. Grasshopper is in the house. Everybody's pouring in to see Miss Patty and Joe. I am okay. So I'm very excited that we did a little sound check, and sound check, it went from 5 minutes. Oh, BF Bud's here too. Sorry, I can't forget BF Bud. We did a sound check today. Sound check for 5 minutes went into about an hour, and I heard so much, some fantastic news and what's going on down in Louisiana, and that's where these folks are from. So before we get started, and before we bring out the guests, I have to play a little disclaimer for the boss. Be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Pat Harrison and Mr. Joe Parker. Hello, my friends, and good evening. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Pat?
Doing great. How about yourself, Chris?
I'm doing well. So first off, I want to say thank you guys for taking time out of your day and stopping by Discover Sasquatch and chatting with us for a little while. I'm very excited because we've never actually, like you said before, we never actually talked face to face before. It's always been through typing and phone calls, and so
right.
It's exciting times for us. And like I said, the sound check went into like an hour. And I heard a whole bunch more about both of yous, and I'm very excited. I know a lot about Pat, and I don't know much about Joe, but Joe's a great guy. I know that, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from him tonight. So before we get started, why don't you let's just start off. How did you two meet? How did you two hook up?
You want me to tell? Yeah. Okay. Well, we were in a chat. We were in a late night chat of Sasquatch, and maybe there might be a few like Barry Browning. There were several like that were in the chat, and we became good friends. And this individual had a what did she have? She had a meet and greet.
Meet and greet outing type thing.
Yeah, down in Falk, Arkansas. And we became really good friends over a year. And we finally met down there. We come back. We got to talking more. I mean, we got along great. And it went from there.
Well, what was the spark? What was the spark for you two? Was it Bigfoot?
Yes.
Yes, we had that in common.
That was a big thing that was in common.
It's hard to find anybody that a couple that works together or pursue Bigfoot together. It's some of us out here, but it sure makes it better.
Love of the woods.
Right. So, what made you guys decide to start investigating together? I know you both love Bigfoot, but you guys are actually investigating now. You're traveling, you're going to different spots all over Louisiana, all over Alabama. You're all over the map.
Mhm.
What made you decide to go that route?
Go ahead.
Well, I had experience before I met Pat, and it wasn't a Class A or nothing. It was wood knocks years ago, and I started having a little bit of. I was open eyed to it, and it got to picking up on different things, and it just rocked on every year, every 6 months, whatever. When I was in the woods, something would happen, and I would pay attention to it, try to document it or whatever in my mind if I didn't do it down on paper or something. And so I just had an interest of the field, but we were mostly just friends. We talked a little bit online about Bigfoot, but mostly we just hanging out at the time, and then we had a little bit of well, it really the fall trip made a lot of it come together for us.
Yes, definitely. And also, I had a sighting at Falk, Arkansas, the day before Joe came down, or no, the night Joe come down. The night before, we had there was mostly women that entire week that were in the camp, and we had a lot of activity, a lot of howling, a lot of screams. And the night before he came on the Thursday night, we would retire to our tents early, and we would talk amongst ourselves through the tents. They started running through the camp. Like you said, they will come to you. And that's exactly what they did. We were at Alex Smith Park, and there's an area right at the edge of the lake and there's a dock that goes out, a pier that everybody likes to camp at. And they have activity down there. Excuse me. And now Joe came on Friday, and he was staying in a tent next to mine. He was probably 10 feet away?
It wouldn't fall.
Yeah, it was about 10 feet away from my tent. And then Miss Dee's tent was she was 15 feet away. She was in front of Joe camping. And it was a full moon, and I watched one crawl up to the tent. His light was on in his tent. It was left on because somebody was going to be staying in the tent with him. And we had just went to bed, and I was watching it crawl up to the tent, and it reached out, and I had to say something. So I said something. I would sit there and watch the entire thing. It was probably 10 to 15 feet away. It backed away, and I remained quiet. And then it came back up and reached out to touch the tent. I could see the hair on its arms hanging. I could see the cone-shaped head. It wasn't very big. My understanding, they're a little bit leaner there. It seemed to be young. And I said something again, like, hi, come here, let me see you. Of course, I got to pet the animal or whatever back then. And it backed away, and they heard it right next to them, the tent next to them. They heard the movement. And that was my experience there at Falk.
What was your first experience that you guys had together? Are you getting a lot of interference?
No, I'm not.
Too bad.
Mm-mm. No.
Let's see. Well, I guess the trailer was the big one, but that's another story.
The actual interaction and stuff would
Devil Swamp probably is the first.
It would be Devil Swamp in Kisatchie. We had went down there, and we've had knocks. we were with Joe Pass, and as soon as we got out of the truck, we had a knock with a one time. We used to take off and go down like at midnight to the one national forest, because there's several Kisatchies, and it's right in the middle of a swamp. The road is, and we would get out of the truck and we would listen. Can you hear? No. And at the edge of the woods. Okay. I guess he's okay. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of echoes back and forth. How is your computer real loud by any chance?
No. Is it okay now?
It might be better now. It might have been my headset.
Okay. Is it better now?
Sounds better now. Sorry about that. Now it sounds good. It was my earplugs.
Okay. Well, we got out at the road there, and Joe had walked down away from the truck a little bit from me. It's pitch black. Now we're in the middle of the swamp, and Joe says, Pat, I have something in front of me. I said, Joe, I have something in front of me. And it sounded like it's called a bull roarer is what it's called. It's the thing that they used in Crocodile Dundee for communication that went whoa, whoa, whoa. I was getting that 10 feet away from me. I was shining a flashlight and I couldn't see it. It happened like 5 or 6 times. To this day, I didn't know what it was. Kumbo kind of made that clear a couple weeks ago. He was talking about it, and it was like a juvenile infrasound that they were learning to do. He knew nothing about my experience and what I experienced, and he told it. And I have been asking everybody about this. I could hear it. And I didn't feel sick or anything like that. And that was probably our first experience. But we've had wood knocks together.
Daytime too, down there.
Daytime, nighttime, rock clacking. Oh my goodness. We've found footprints. We go back into the swamp. The one picture that you have there is the swamp we actually have walked into. And we've taken Joe past there as well. He loved the place. It's creepy there. I won't go off the road after dark down in there because it is water. And anything could be lurking down there, especially snakes.
Okay, so let's start in the swamp. See, now there's an echo. You guys hearing that echo? I'm sorry. This is terrible. We
Not
weren't
really.
getting it.
We're not hearing an echo.
Is there still an echo, guys? Do you hear it?
I hear something, but it's not really a bad echo like you have had.
Is it on your end or on our end?
I think it's on your end. I think it's your computer's. I can hear myself come back in the computer.
It's off. Yeah. Huh. I'll be darned.
Comes
My
and
goodness,
goes.
it was fine before.
Yeah, we had
Okay.
beautiful.
The hell?
Still doing it.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna move that time.
Okay. I don't know what else we can do. We are on an iPad.
Yeah, no, it's just echoing. I don't get it.
Huh.
Let's see.
You don't have a phone? Nothing else running, or
No. Nope. Nothing running. No, we're just on the iPad. Hmm.
You don't hear that. I can hear that now, and I'm not even saying anything. It's like interference.
Yes, I heard that.
I'm going to remove myself.
Okay. He's going to remove himself and come back. I guess we're live. Hello, we're Pat and Joe. We're in charge now. We've taken over this whole show.
Yep. Most of that stuff.
Boy.
Let's try it again. Nope, still.
No. Still? You want us to go out and come back in? Oh my.
I don't understand. It was perfect before the show. It was perfect.
Yes.
The only thing we had on was that tablet of hers.
That was earlier. It's not on now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
We've
picking
shut
up
it down.
from somewhere.
Hmm.
Would it be any better through Messenger or anything?
No.
It's something squeaking. It's not on my end.
Turn the fan off.
I don't think it's the fan either.
Yeah, we're just trying to eliminate everything we can eliminate. Is that better?
Oh, worse.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, Al. It's like picking up something from somewhere, like a radio. It's weird.
We could hear something in the background, but it's really light. You could barely hear it.
Yeah.
Well, I could turn this one off and come back on if it do any good.
We'd have to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want us to leave and come back in?
Yeah, try that. See if that'll work.
Here's leave.
Hang on.
Check one, check one, check one. See, it's gone. Yeah, I think it is internal feedback from their speakers. That's what I think's going on. Well, sorry about this, guys. It's been a project with this, and we finally had it sounding good.
Okay.
All right, so it's definitely on your end because it went silent here.
Wow.
It's like a feedback coming from your speaker. You guys don't have a headset or anything. See, you can hear it squeak. You hear that squeak when you move that.
Oh, it's just the. No.
And this is coming off something in here. We'll put it on the table.
Can you turn your volume down a little bit on that?
Yes, we can. Okay, how's that? How is that?
Wait, I gotta listen. Check one, check one. It's still squeaking.
I don't know what it could be.
Let's run your tablet then.
You guys got earbuds by any chance?
We have earbuds, yes. Let me grab them.
All right.
Grab
I'm
your-
sorry.
No, what about it? That's where the static's coming from.
No, because they're not on. It's definitely coming from the speakers.
Do you want us to get earbuds?
Yes, please, if you could. We'll try that.
Yes.
I don't know.
Take me 2 seconds.
You only need one set. That's all I've got Bluetooth too. Where you all? You got to
I'm
use
trying
one
it
of
out.
these.
Okay.
Getting depressing each week. The sound.
Okay. Give me one.
Yeah, no, it's coming
Okay.
back from them because they were gone and then
Okay.
the script went away. All right, so if it sounds good to the audience, then we'll just keep rolling and it'll just be on our end, but it'll probably record. So
Okay, can you hear us? It's still going on?
yeah, no, it sounds great now. What'd you do?
We have earbuds on.
All right, that's
Okay.
gone. Yes.
Okay, let's see.
All right,
We're gonna
perfect.
go with the pond.
Oh, thank you. I was going to have a heart attack.
That's the way it is.
All right, so let's get into your investigating. Let's go right into there. And you named off a lot of places at the sound check at the beginning of the show, and you have a couple places that you like to visit, and you're interacting, and you got plans there, and you have a plan how you investigate. So let's start at one of those places. I'll bring up a picture, and then we'll start at this place there. So let's start
Okay,
here.
well, this is where we are currently going right now, and this is at Pison. People might know it's Fort Polk. It's also Kisatchie National Forest, and they changed the name to Fort Johnson.
Push it back.
And
My whole point.
And what it is we have been going out there lately. There has been a lot of reports there. There has been a lot of reports there. And so we have been going out there looking for turkey and also doing that as well. We're having a malfunction.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's not a wardrobe. At least it's not a wardrobe.
That's okay. I think we all need to start drinking
We're
on
moving everything. Well, we're moving everything because of we moved everything because of all the noise.
It's okay. It's okay. We're all good.
Okay.
So you made a pretty good find at this place. Now this is where you just found that huge stick structure, correct?
Now that is Kisatchie National Forest. That's the forest we were talking about just a bit ago that we have had all the experiences. We have found footprints, stick structures. The one that you see Joe with and the bigger one. Now there's one there. Okay, that we did find that. And close to that also, we have found another structure and we used the RF meter. It went off and we didn't bring that one up. We watched this one for about a year. And what I decided to do is I did the no and decided to touch it just to see if anything would happen. And I was going back every week. Well, it did. It started changing for the worst. And till it's still standing now, even through a fire, which they just had a control burn there. And there's little of it left. But there is crossroads right around that structure. And what there is, we've had numerous things happen around that structure too. I had something trying to call me over into the woods. It was a turkey call, but there was no turkey right there. Joe had walked away from me and disappeared. I knew I was being lured into the forest where I couldn't see. It was heavily brushed area. And I went back to the truck till he returned. Normally we don't separate. And we happened to separate that day because, like I said, he was looking for turkey sign. I thought it was him back in there. It was not. And then a mile up the road, not even a mile up the road, Joe did a call one night. And you can tell that one. Tell what happened.
Well, I'd been in talking to Mark Green, and he had told us about how to use an elk call, and if you do it correctly or get a loud, high-pitched sound out of it, you could have a booger call back. So, I took a mouth call and kind of a bugle apparatus like deal that to modify it and amplify it. And so I tried to do one. It didn't sound very good, so I came back again and done more like a coyote yelp. And well, right as soon as I quit, it come back with a howl, came right back to us, and it was roar, howl. It was a pretty awesome sounding deal there. Now we did not see it, but it was just a few hundred yards away in the thicker woods. But it sure answered.
And it wasn't happy. And we were afraid that we were going to be cut off where we were at. So we went ahead and chose to leave. It was very upset. And it sounded human too.
Now, are you guys bouncing things off of each other during this time? Like you're hearing the howl, and you're talking to Joe, and you're saying, oh, "I don't know about that howl, Joe. You know that doesn't sound too pleasant to me." And Joe, gets a response.
Mhm.
Is that how you guys operate out in the woods? You're a team,
Right.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Well, that night I even looked at him and I said that he had never heard anything, which I had. And I said, that my man is a Sasquatch when we heard it that night, right then. And he said, well, I'm getting in the truck and we're leaving. And that's what we did. We chose to leave. I think it was a good call. It's pitch black. We can't see. We had no night vision there. We kind of pushed the boundaries. We pushed our luck, which we have a tendency to do if we want to find something out. We will push the barrier a little bit.
Right.
Who's
setting the rules? Nobody set the rules.
But
right.
we to answer your question, we try to work together on working the grounds, or like if you're doing a call, you better have somebody listen, because if it comes right back, you won't hear it. It's better off to have, when you do anything like that, it's better off to have more than one person to hear what's going on. And it's really good that we didn't. I mean, we just didn't have a recorder then, but if we'd had a recorder, I think we'd have had a good vocal that would have been out of this world. But
I didn't have it with me, is what it was.
we didn't have it.
But the thing is we do that. We normally don't do calls most of the time. We don't tree knocks. We allow them to come to us. That seems to work, whether it's a campfire or if we're camping or whatever. Like you said, we just act like Ma and Pa.
Mm-hmm.
And we argue sometimes on the sound, on what it is and what it isn't. And then we come to an agreement on what it could possibly be, or we just throw it out.
Right. Joe, being a hunter all your life in the woods and everything, when you first started hearing these Sasquatch hollers and screams, and you had to turn to Pat, and really, what is that? What was going through your mind at this time? Something like you've been in the woods all your life, and you've never heard this stuff before. What was going through your head?
Well, all this stuff that we listen for now could have been done a long time ago. We just didn't know what we was listening for. We didn't have any. There was no people that would speak out around where we lived or over here where we live now about the subject. And until the television and stuff started passing on, even it might seem silly and it might, stuff they done was for television, but that opened up a little bit of a door to pay attention to different things and see what, I would hear whistles in the woods, and I'd hear sometimes maybe a knock, and but you don't. If you don't know what you're listening for, you just don't pay much attention. You think, well, it's just part of the woods. You don't really pay no attention. But it when you get out, if you get out and go, all turkey season, you're gonna eventually hear something around where we live. It possibly is gonna be a Bigfoot. They ain't much whistles, one tone whistle in the woods, and only a couple things. I've had some pretty hairy times sitting up against a tree and had things come in behind me or something, and I didn't really get I didn't try to get a visual. I was just holding pat, trying to play like a stump right there by the tree to let it come on around me, and then I was going to see what the heck it was. But I got some unexplainable stuff I can't account for. Now, I know that's not everybody's good answer about seeing an A-type class sighting and all, but I guarantee you, if what I had was what I thought I had, it was way closer than I wanted to be to it, and it was right on me. So it just, at first, you just don't know, Chris. You don't know what you're walking into. You have to just pick it up as you go, pay attention. I was always interested in the subject on television and in science shows and this and that had something to do with it. I always had an interest in it when I was a kid, but didn't really think about it being right here or all over, as far as that goes.
Right. So now you guys do a certain way of investigating. You guys got your own way of doing things, and I agree with a lot of it, the way you guys handle yourselves in the forest. I don't wood knock. I don't do any of that stuff either. And the people who do, that's okay. I'm not knocking anybody. And
No.
just now, I'm just saying I like that way you guys do it. Who came up with the technique of that? Did Pat come up with the technique of building the trust up and keeping quiet, or was that another team situation?
No, we both didn't want to. We had done this a long time and not have but marginal success, and then we started having a regular, something pretty regular happen. We didn't want to interfere with. We didn't want to run off what we had, more or less. Didn't want to do nothing too much extra. No setting out game cameras. No sitting down the road at night with thermal. Just anything to try to get. We didn't want to upset things and get it where they start taking off and they don't come back, and you start over from scratch. We just taking it a little at a time. Me and her both talked about it, that we wasn't going to get too aggressive with anything, and let it play out. And we just didn't ever want to run off what we had going there. It was their area, we were intruding on it, and we was having they wouldn't. Where we were going, they didn't have a lot of violent type encounters or anything. They could have went. The first time we had something happen, it could have been really bad, but it wasn't. I don't know if it was where they was raising the little ones or what the deal was, but they could have been belligerent and just got ignorant, but they didn't. I talk about that mouth pop. That mouth pop was there to give warning that we were there and that they were there. And if they had little ones, maybe that's what they were referring to. But it could have been, it could have come out like one of them horror stories you hear about. But typically, where we live over here, they're not vocal like they are at Flat Rocks. Greg speaks of it. His a vocal. His ignorant, belligerent too at times. Now, we'll go into that situation where we've been going whenever you want to pull into it, but we've had all kind of weird things. I don't know. You get glimpses. I don't know what it is. It's like your peripheral. You get glimpses of stuff, and it's like something going by the truck over there, and you're across the way from it fishing. And I'm thinking, did I see something? And we get back over there, and something may holler right by the truck when we're walking back, and we have it on audio. We always got our audio. They were timely for us, much as we was timely for them. They usually give us something on audio that solidifies something's there.
So let's go. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
So let's go to the mouth pop area. Let's take a look at the area that you guys are in, and you can explain to everybody what happened at this area.
Yeah, well, go ahead if you want to.
Okay, this is my baby here. I've been working on this for almost a year now. Over as you can see over in the, okay, oh, you can see the trash can. Behind the trash can, you'd see a dark area. That's normally where a lot of times I will place a recorder right there. It's right off the levee.
You see it right there?
Yeah, and I will also put a recorder. As you can see, there's one sitting on the back of the truck right now as well, and a lot of times I put the tri-field meter and the recorder on the back of the truck, and I'll maybe go down to where Joe is at. What had happened is we were camping in a campground, in one of the campgrounds in the National Forest, and Joe run across a local that said, "Hey, I know where this fishing spot's at. Only the locals go to it. You're going to have to drive into the forest." So we decided to check it out. As we're going through there, I'm rolling my windows up because it was dark. We decided to make a trip back in there. There was a tree blocking the road. There was a tree in the road, things like that. And it gave us the willies. We said, we're not staying. We'll come back during the day. So anyways, we came back, we checked it out, and I brought a recorder. And it was right before dark. Joe was placing the recorder out, and I was looking into the thermal. I was just kind of looking around. All of a sudden, there's a pop. It sounds like what they would call a mouth pop, and it was considerably loud. It's 40, 50 yards from the truck, as you can see in the one picture, and we had stayed for a little while. We heard movement, and we chose to leave as soon as we left. Now, the thing is we're getting things real time, and I'm also dropping a recorder, and I'm leaving a recorder as well. So we're picking that up as well. As soon as we leave, we get in the truck. We're just barely in the truck. You can hear on the recorder as we are leaving, it sounds like wood knocks. We have left at this point. Then we're getting something walking up to the recorder and picking it up, putting it back down. Then we get something that goes over and opens up the garbage can. No one is there but us. We had just left. It's dark. No one has come down the road. We know there's no one back in there. Something open and slams the garbage can. We get that. There was a tree pushed over. You hear, it sounds like to be loud tree knocks. You hear something get in the water. You hear something all night long banging on something. There's a lot of turtles and things like that, and things like that in that water. So what we did is we came back. We decided, hey, we picked up a recorder. We found all this. Okay, we're going to go back out. We're going to go check it out even further. We can't get in the place. They have it blocked off. We can't figure out why they have it blocked off. Come to find out, they're having one of those child rodeos where they drop all the catfish in the pond. So that week they had dropped catfish in there. So we came back the next day. It's only for a couple hours they have that. We said, that's odd. So we came back in there. Immediately got a response when they opened it back up. Like that was on Saturday. On Sunday, we were back in there. We got a knock at the other end of the pond. We got something. We left out another recorder. We got the trash can was slammed this time. We made sure that it was locked, and it's one of the kind that is bear proof. It's been opened and slammed closed, so we know that for a fact. We also hear a portalet open and slam shut. We will hear things for about an hour after we leave immediately. We have things like that go on. We're not saying we don't know what it is. We haven't seen, but we're taking it slow to try and find out what it is and try and maybe build a trust. It's a case of the one night it did scare me a little bit, and Joe as well, is I will leave a recorder on the back of the truck, and you can see where we park it at the garbage can. And we walked down on the levee that night. We were down there. We're coming back. It's a little after dark. We hear something. It sounded like a foot stomp is what it sounded like.
It was a knock or a foot stomp
Right.
or
It's
something.
it's like we're only like about 40
But it's
yards
closer to the
away.
truck than we are.
It's right at the truck, and we're 40 yards away from the truck. So that's putting but whatever it is, between the truck and us. And I think we did have a flashlight on us that time.
We didn't have much.
And we didn't have much with us. We'd have been in serious trouble that time.
I would bring my fishing stuff every time, and we'd be
Mhm.
fishing around the pond. So
Yeah.
one night we go, and it gets to be dusty dark. And we got there late anyway because it was so hot at the end of last summer in 23. You couldn't hardly breathe till the sun went down. Down here where we live, it was like triple digits every day. So I got there, and I was throwing a top water. You can hear it clearly on the recorder. She's got it. I think the one that she put out by the tree that we leave normally was picking it up too.
Mm-hmm.
And you could hear it plooping on top of the water, popping. Doop, doop, doop. So I walk around the pond, make a few casts, and I come back by the truck, and I stop at another place, make a cast or two. Went a little bit further up, and all of a sudden I hear a kabloosh. I can tell you this, it's either rock or something in that water, but it sounded like a rock hitting, just coming down and hitting hard, straight up. So at that time, I said, it's got to be 100% rock. Well, believe it or not, I'm sitting there trying to debunk everything. So I grab a rock up, and we're walking around the pond the next day or so. I throw it up in the air with my phone on, and I'm recording it. I want to see if I can reduplicate that note. So we went on, we threw up a rock. I recorded it. I don't remember if it come out worth the flip or not. And then, and I'm going on. So we looked at another place. It was like a swampy bayou. It had a big old new bridge, but it's way out in the country. And we stopped down there and listened and all that for anything we could hear. And we tried the rock test again, So it's about that big. It sounds like it's, about that size, like a golf ball size rock. That's what it sounded like when it hit the water. So I come back and I'm jam up thinking I'm dead on this deal. It's got to be a rock. Well, I come back and I'm throwing a top water bait, and all of a sudden the water just kaploosh. Not that trip, but another. I was thinking, what in the world is in here that big? Well, another cast. I have another one. Broosh. But this time I catch it. It's one of them catfish they've been feeding on top water, I guess, with that food and all. They feed it on top. Well, it comes up and hits my top water bait, and it tears up the water. We fought and fought. Finally, I got it on the bank. I said, well, now that explains. Maybe it could have been that, but I still think it was a rock that evening because we hadn't had anything. I'd work 2 days on, 2 days off, and every 2 days I was off, we was out there putting a recorder out. Then we would go back and pick it up usually the next day if we wasn't camping. We'd have to drive back out there and pick that recorder up after it got daylight. We'd pick it up and then bring it back home, and then she'd break it down while I was at work and go to analyzing it. And
How important would you emphasize to someone to incorporate recorders into their investigating? Because you guys are big users of the recorder. You wouldn't be able to hear the steps or the knocks, or when you left, you would have never known that ever happened without those. You want to tell everybody how big of a tool that a recorder is in the field?
I can tell you is, you said to me, did you record it? I come home and I say, Chris, this happened. I was telling you all about it. Did you record it? No. And finally it sunk in that I need to record it, because you know what? It's only a story. It's only a story anyway, unless you lay a visual on anything. But at least it's something. You're not crazy.
But we was, because of you and the recorder. I don't know if you want
Yes.
to tell her about the Zoom. She got us, went out, got a couple
Those
Zooms,
are the best.
and we didn't know anything about how to, so I would we started out with one card and a micro card for each one of them, like a 32 gig or something. We didn't know, much about nothing. Started out with that. Well, then we didn't know how to download it on anything. So then we were scared to lose that information. So I just started ordering 4 or 5 of them at a time from Amazon. So
Yeah.
then we got to download it on a laptop, and then that helped a bunch. She could Bluetooth it in, and then take a speaker that was a good speaker. You could hear it. If I transfer it to you to my phone and then send it to you on Messenger, it breaks it down 2 or 3 times, and you hear me breathe. You're hearing anything going on the street. You're hearing all these things, but I can guarantee you the things we talk about, 99% of we got recorded. It ain't just talk about, well, I heard a mouth pop. I heard this. I heard that. No, it's recorded. It's on that over there. It's recorded. So it means a hell of a difference.
Right. There's things that another thing is too, is when we're camping and we have it out, we don't hear something. We don't hear something in that camper.
You don't hear that,
but it picks it up. But it picks it up outside of the trailer, and we hear everything that's going on, because the Zoom recorder is crystal clear. We get such clear recordings off of this, and which makes it valuable. Is that I'm saying I'm not crazy. I did hear this. Listen to this. And another thing is we're able to go back and debunk things. Like we question now the rock that went into the water, because right as soon as we left, we hadn't got anything except a rock sounding thing. And I was walking back and I missed it. I saw the water splash and it was right by me. But as soon as we left, we had things happen things went down on that recorder. We actually got
for a long time.
He didn't know it. We actually got that sound on the recorder, plus whatever happened as soon as we left, because he said, that's it. Okay, you win. I'm out of here. And we left. And there's all kinds of things happened on there.
That's the weirdest recording.
And we have several things like that. It's very, very valuable. If you do nothing else, record, because it will help maybe give you those answers that you need. And I have found whatever it is that we are recording, I'm not going to say exactly what it is or whatever, but they don't say whatever it is doesn't seem to mind it. They do not seem to mind a recorder. And no, it's a very valuable tool. I find it's the most valuable tool in the toolbox.
Mm-hmm. It's even better. Go ahead.
Well, no, I have to agree with you both. I said, but of course, it's not the end all. We're never going to get the end all evidence. No one's ever going to get the end all evidence, I don't think.
No.
But it's cool how you can track. You guys learned how to track with your recorder. You're leaving.
Yes.
You're wood knocks. They're letting each other know that you guys are leaving. Then all of a sudden they're in the camp. They're going through the camp. They're lifting up the garbage cans. They're looking. That's what they do. I mean, it's very cool. It's very cool, and I'm glad that you guys explained it the way you did, because you're tracking
the pattern.
Whatever it is, they're being tracked with the recorder. So it's very, very cool.
Right. Right. And what it is they seem to, I'm looking for those patterns, and whatever it is, I can tell you, we go out there, we go and we fish, I'll walk around, I'll look for tracks, I'll pick up rocks, I'll look for things. I'll look for any kind of signs, and we go out there non-threatening. And we're looking around.
We're just 2 old folks out there throwing a rod around.
Right. And we have learned also what we do is we ignore that sound when we hear it, just like when we felt we were blocked at the truck, because that recorder didn't lie. That recorder was sitting on the truck and it was right there. And then there was something else happened there too, the movement and stuff like that. So there was something there, and then the stuff happened after. But
they know we know too.
They know we know.
That I don't know if they do this to everybody that comes there, but I can promise you, whatever knows we know, because it's just stuff they do that they don't have to give themselves up. First thing, and for them to give themselves up like they did to us, and then after we was leaving, just keep on and on with whether it's young, immature ones, I can't tell you, or whatever it is. But whatever it is, it ain't, I just can't, the way I look at it nowadays, I can't prove a lot of things that we talk about, but just anybody that doubts, tell me what I'm hearing. Tell me what rocked my trailer. That's all I want to know. If it wasn't them, just tell me what it was.
Right.
Because I went through that looking and thinking about, well, I didn't see what done it, but I heard what ran off, and I heard this and that going on. Just tell me, I'm not saying everything, we see anything to prove everything, but tell me what's making these noises. What's answering my knock with another knock? What's when I'm driving off, it's knocking or popping or whatever, and it sounds real close. Another thing about that, the mouth pop, it was close enough you could tell it came from my height.
Yes. It
wasn't down on the ground, and it wasn't up a tree, and it wasn't 1,000 yards away. It was my height or higher, and I'm 6'2", and it 7 foot or so would have been close. Six foot would have been close. It came at me. The projection of it came right at my head, like you could tell it was that close. And she said, "That wasn't you." I said, "No, it wasn't me." Of course, I get blamed a lot of stuff, but it wasn't me.
Well, another thing is Joe didn't want to believe.
I still don't want it to mess up my life.
No, he's a hunter. He doesn't want to change him being in the woods. But since we have been going out and doing things and just camping and running across this and having these all of a sudden these experiences happened out of nowhere. I started going out with him to the woods and stuff, and things started happening. And he doesn't want it to change anything for him. But I want answers. I want to know what it is. I want to know what makes those noises.
This year, looking for turkeys. I'm retired. She's retired. Able to go. We went 500 miles, maybe. 20 days so far this year, maybe 30, maybe 25.
Just this year.
That's just since now back to the first of the year. We went out a whole bunch when we was permitting, because we checked out a lot of country, a lot of different country this year. And I'm not saying we went all down in the woods and seen every track and every but we made a lot of ground where it was so thick that anything could have come across the road, just like it does to the people who have things cross, but we ain't had that. It's funny that to cover much as we do, we ain't had one that's bogged out of a thicket going into another thicket right in front of the truck. We just ain't had that. But it ain't because we ain't trying.
But at the pond, we know as of a few weeks ago, we knew they were closed because a lot of people say that they leave. They hadn't left since May. And
I don't say they could stay food there.
Right. And
vegetables.
Right. And they had a control burn there just recently. We started seeing some animals around there. You went through hunting season and everything else. So we went down the road, which is the back route to that pond. And we were there one night a couple weeks ago. We decided, I said, you know what? Let's push it. We normally don't do this. Do a knock, Joe. Let's see if they're here. Let's see if they answer. We did a knock and something answered right close.
And it was very, very low tone. You couldn't have, but any kind of ambient noise, you wouldn't hear it. But if we could sit down in our trailer with you and turn a good microphone, a good speaker on where you could hear.
We heard it.
And everybody sit there, you could hear it plainly. I don't even hear good because of being around the industry for so long. But it was just a light pop knock, right? Just a little bit behind the knock. It was one came back.
We heard it with our ears. We both heard it with our ears.
So I questioned her.
We heard it on.
Me.
We heard it on the recorder as well. We have it on the recorder as well. So we know that they're not at the pond specifically. So I'm waiting to see if they come back when they dump the fish again.
They branched out, but that whole area since the burn,
they've been working around there.
The grass is coming back. Little grass they burn it, and then it comes back like a big food plot. So the turkeys is back, the deer are coming back. I don't know about no hogs yet, but there's some up the road. But I just think I don't know how far they go, but I just think they branched out further because I couldn't honestly say if they're that big. My mentality is they're that big and there's that many of them, well, if it's 4 or 5, whatever, you're talking about some fish, maybe 2 5-gallon buckets of turtles on the upside, maybe, that they could catch. And God knows how many frogs is around there when it goes creaking at night. Mm-hmm. But the frogs stay on and on, been big bullfrogs and all, like they can't catch them. I just wondered if they not good unless it's got a heat signature on the body. Yep. You ever heard of that? Anybody's ever mentioned that? Nobody I ever heard talked about that because they don't fool with them frogs, and I'm thinking they're cold-blooded. I know them turtles is too, but they come up and they're kind of pretty easy to catch if you can see nocturnal and all that. But it's amazing that they didn't fool with them frogs like they could have. Right. Now, they wouldn't have been a big meal, but meal's a meal. Right. They got to be living off of vegetation.
Right. Well, if they weigh that much and they constantly have to eat, I'm sure they're.
I would think so.
Right.
Right.
But so normally,
we're already creeping up on the hour mark. Can you believe that?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's just me talking.
Yeah.
I apologize for the beginning of the show, everybody. We lost like 10 minutes of the show from trying to get the sound right, but. I'm going to have you guys definitely back because we got to tell the story about the camper and everything. But before we go, what are your plans for this year at this spot? What are your goals?
Well, actually, we're going to be back. Today's Monday. We'll be out somewhere. Tomorrow. If not tomorrow by noon, we're going to be somewhere in the woods. If we ain't got nothing pressing to do, we'll be off and on in the woods. And then we're going to start camping. And we have an outing planned in April, but we're going to have camping weekends too. We plan on do best we can, stay on them. It'd be mostly audio boxes because the game cam business, it's just not really productive like audio is. You can just do so much more with it, and they seem to not worry about it. We're going to be on. We're going to be out. Now, It's not just boogering. We stretch it into, sometimes we booger and then we go somewhere and we got different things we do. Sometimes it's boogering / looking for hunting or doing hunting. Right. But we'll be out. She likes to ride around and look at them horses and all that stuff. And we're boogering then too, but because they got miles and miles of ryegrass coming up. Got deer out there, about a herd loads. All that's food for a booger if he wants to catch it.
Well, what I want to do is I plan to go up to Cincinnati and pay a visit to my home place up there. And what I want to do is I want to put all these recordings together. I have 2 sons actually that have all the equipment, all the programming, everything that you would need. And I want to put together almost like a listening project. And that would be for us elderly that can't get out. And I want them to experience what we are experiencing and to see what we are going through, hear what we hear in real time and on a recorder. And I want to bring that evidence to the people and let them judge for themselves as well.
It's a great
Another
idea.
thing we do is get exercise, and that helps a
And
lot
exercise too. Not everybody can get out, and some of the people, they're not physically able to, and also they don't need to go out by themselves. I have a big guy here I can go out with and wander wherever I want to go, and I don't have to worry. He just reins me back in, and we're good to go. But that's my plans, and I want to follow up with this pond to see when they come back in, whatever is coming back in, and how long they stay, and see if I can maybe get some further communication interaction as well. That's it.
I think it's going to progress at this pond. I think you guys are doing the right thing. I think you know what you're doing. I think they know when you're there. I think they look for
Yes.
you guys. I this is just my opinion again. I can't say this is 100%
You're
what's
right.
going on, but I think they are. I like your approach. It's respectful. It's building trust, and you know a lot of people might laugh at people that say this, but I think that's key. I think trust with
Yes.
these guys are key. No matter what you believe, if you have a terrible rotten dog that barks at you all the time, but over time you get that dog's trust. And guess what? That dog's going to hop up on your lap. It's going to give you a lick on the face. It's going to trust you as a person. And I think that's an approach to go towards anything that unknown is to gather that trust. And it's a great approach that you guys are doing. And I applaud you for that. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And you guys are
No.
you guys are doing it perfectly. You know what you're doing. And like you said, you're fishing. You're just, I applaud you. It's awesome what you guys are doing. If
But
anybody's
I'm all about pushing the boundaries a little bit too, here and there when I'm allowed to, when I can.
No, she's about pushing me, and I fall over the boundary. What the hell that's about?
well, just hope she can't push you over when it's time to run, or else because she's getting away.
Oh, I'm gonna get ahead of her some way. If I got a clipper or whatever. But I just want to tell everybody too that we appreciate it. We're working hard trying to do what we can to get what we can out of the deal. It's I worry too that with all the calling and different things go on and people kind of like picking on them. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but I hear so many violent stories in different places, and I know they get. I would. That's the way I say it. I would if somebody come in my yard and took a dozer and tore it all up. Well, that'd make me all upset too. And then if somebody come out there and they were shooting around there all the time or doing a stock car in my front yard and they don't have no muffler and they just just loud noise and all that, that would aggravate the fire out of me too. So a lot of things we do, I think we get a reaction from what we do around those things, and they just don't.
Right.
They fight back best way they can. If it's hollering, if it's hurting, if it's beating on the house or running by or something, I often wonder if we ain't picking on them by doing stupid stuff, and then they get all upset. Now they want to get belligerent and do different things. I don't know yet, but just something to think about.
You guys are right on target.
Thank you.
I don't
That's
disagree
nice
with
to hear.
anything you guys say, but I'm not I'm not the Bigfoot guru either. I agree with you guys, and I like how you guys all work together. You guys all down in the South there, you're all interwebbed and interwoven with each other and bounce
Oh
things
yeah.
off each other all the time. And
Yes,
with
we do.
everybody
We have Mark Green and Greg House. Greg
Flat
House
Rock.
is a big one. Flat Rock.
You could put an audio recorder in those people's places at their house
And get something.
and subject to get something any given night. They may not be there every day. You wouldn't think they would be there any day with all the stuff they got, maybe. But you've talked to Mark Green many times, and he'll tell you many times that them rabbit cages get left open. And it ain't them doing it. The Mark and Rebecca's not doing that.
No, we know that. I gave him a recording.
and
We appreciate y'all's time.
They're kind. You all are kind, and that's a major part in this.
That's what it's all about.
Be kind. Period.
That's,
We
It
run
doesn't
across
cost
what you're
anything.
talking about too. We run across naysayers and evil people, but some of those people will do that in front of you. Then they'll turn around and get you to the side and say, I heard something the other day.
Right.
I asked a man at work that, and he said, "Well, that's one time I got run out of the woods."
Yeah,
He would never admit that if you didn't ask it the right way. He never would admit it to it.
you're going to get that anywhere, and it's something that we can do together, that we share and that we enjoy.
Yep.
And we've made a lot of good friends as on the way.
We crossed a lot of good miles doing it too, but that's just part of it.
The good friends are everything. The guys at Woodwalkers, good friends, and Mark's a good friend, and Flat Rocks, they're all good people. They're all great people.
Yes, great people.
Just like you guys are great people also. You want to tell everybody how if can watch what you got going on, or find you guys anywhere? Are you on Facebook or
I tell you what, no, I don't. Yes, we are on Facebook.
On Facebook too.
And we are both on Facebook.
Single-lid with our names.
Yes. If you would like to hear anything that we have, or see anything, but if you would like to hear something, contact us, and we'll see we'll be glad to do it for you. We'll put it through Messenger. We'll be glad to do that and let you hear what we have. We're an open book. We have nothing to hide, and we enjoy sharing as well. We have some unique things that other people don't have.
We're definitely going to have you back, because you got to tell everybody the story about the trailer and all that. We got to.
Oh yeah.
The time just goes by so quick when.
And at Flat Rocks too.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. And hopefully we all meet up this year at one point.
Yes.
In our journey. All right. Yes. So I'll let everybody know in the comments and comment on the video how to get a hold of you on Facebook. And
certainly they can reach us on Facebook.
I want to say thank you both for taking time out of your busy schedule and spending it with us tonight.
And thank you.
Sorry we had a rocky start, but we all prevailed and overcame it, and now we're standing on top of Space Mountain looking down, right? It's like Ric Flair.
That's right. Thank you so much.
So just hang out back for a little while until I get back and say goodnight to you all, and
okay.
Then I'll let you go.
Hang on.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Good night, everybody.
Pat Harrison and Joe Parker.
Michael Haywood.
All right. What a great show. Great people. I am so sorry for the beginning of the show. We were sounding so perfect before things got handed, but again, look at my screen. What the heck? Things just go astray in this thing. I can't believe that. But anyways, my screen's off. I don't get it. My light flicked off. I just don't understand what's going on. But anyways, sorry about that, boss. Next week, Eric Tipton's on the show. Don't want to miss it. Hopefully we bounce back. And I looked at this thing too. Oh my God. And he's on next. And other than that, that's all I got for this week. Be kind to everybody and whatever you do this week. And thanks you all for coming. I can't say my thing anymore. I'm lost without my outro thing about Larry. So good night, everybody. Be kind. See you next Monday night. Mr. Eric Tipton. Good night.
I'm trapped inside a fake reality. Better days will never come for me.